Welcome to Opposites Distract. I'm Jared. That is Bo Yoakley, sex therapist and actor.
Absolutely. Self-acclaimed sex therapist.
That's the best way to do it.
Personified.
That's the
Yeah.
best way to do it.
Who
I
wants to
mean,
go through licensing for that? I
right?
mean,
No. And like Howard Stern, he called himself the king of all media. He called himself that, and it just became a thing.
yeah, yeah.
You
But that is
yourself,
the thing. It's like proclaiming it
yeah,
before it's
yeah,
a thing. I'm a big believer in that for sure. I think that's what gets a lot of people's way. Is like how they view themselves. You know what I mean? Not to
yeah.
turn on
Then
like the whole thing, but
we're
it's
going
like
to go.
what? How would people look at themselves? We'll get into that
I
later.
stopped
But yeah.
talking because you were talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't
dude. I
know.
mean,
There's a
look,
lag in the
you're a little
audio.
rusty.
I am.
You're clearly
I'm rusty.
rusty. It's fine. No, technology sometimes for sure. No, but we're gonna do the Mount Rushmore of action stars, and I think that's going to lead into. Well, you can see at the bottom it'll be on some things. We can see into probably the last bankable star. We can argue that though. There might be an argument to be made. The last bankable box office going to the movie theater star, Tom Cruise, and then there's some other things with P. Diddy. The trial is graphic as you can imagine, and then Bill Belichick can't get out of the news, and it's not about sports.
All for the wrong reasons. I try
Yeah.
to stay away from the Diddy thing because I feel like it's getting darker and darker. It's like I almost don't want to know. You know what I mean? Like, you remember that website when we were growing up, Toxic Junction, where you would
No.
go, you would go and like it's like these really morbid videos, right? And of course, anyone who in high school and college is like, this is the greatest thing ever. So it's called Toxic Junction. Thanks to my friend Tucker for hollering at me at that, linking me into that website, and it'd be like just the most graphic, like people getting attacked by lions, but really like you see them get eaten. And there's some things you can't unsee. I mean, that's what the Diddy thing is for me. It's like I don't want to know. It's so dark. I feel like it just gets worse and worse and worse. And everything I find out, I'm like, oh, this guy's just a demon. I think he's just so horrible.
Oh no, I mean just the day one stuff, even if it's not stuff that's illegal, just the stuff he was doing with Cassie that he was with for 12 years, but it was forced and sex trafficking and stuff. Just that stuff alone, even if it was consensual, it's like next level, just depraved.
But at what point do we like just stop the jury, stop the trial? Like we have everything. You're done.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like why this is costing millions of dollars. I know the lawyers want to, get their pockets full, but I think it costs millions of dollars to do this. Like everyone knows what the case is. Hit them with one thing, and that one thing's gonna put you away for life. We don't need to go through everything else. Like,
right. And he's in his 50s, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And then, it's unavoidable to talk. I mean, it's just everywhere. But some of the Cassie stuff is, I'm telling you, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg. And honestly, not to be crass about it, I think there's some things that they did that was, if it was consensual, you'd be into. I don't want to paint you with P. Diddy, but yeah,
me,
if it were consensual,
baby oil is about the only thing that I think I'd be into that I've heard that he likes. That I'd be okay with baby.
What about me? What about like somebody urinating in your mouth?
For surely not.
If it's consensual.
I don't see the appeal in that. Like, do you get to a point that just good old fashioned sex isn't enough, in that you have to keep ramping it up? You know what I mean? Like I've heard this from like pedophiles and stuff, and like To Catch a Predator and stuff. It's like they push the limit so much. It's like now they have to do the most crazy, bizarre stuff, i.e., Bill Belichick, to even get like excited. I don't get it.
No, I think that's definitely the case. And if you've been famous for a long time and you have some depravity already, that like, okay, you can have sex all day, every day, and it's hot model after hot model. It's usually the guys, hot model after hot model after hot model. Then after a while, you're just like, huh. I mean, if and so then it seems like it goes to like S&M type stuff, and then then it's like total humiliation. Like with Cassie, of course, there's abuse involved and it's nasty, but like he just wanted her to be humiliated, like she's just like property to him, and that was a turn on.
It's like a prison thing, you know what I mean? Like also guys interview in prisons, like it's not about the sex, it's about the dominating nature
Yeah.
of like a relationship. So like I say, it gets weird and murky. Like when you start, and the same thing with pedophiles. Like pedos go for younger kids, so they have that power dynamic over top of them.
Yeah.
All of it's sick and all of it's twisted and all of it needs to be like documented and studied. But it's
Well,
crazy.
let's go ahead and get into the Cassie thing real quick. I'll just give you a quick update on it.
Oh, good. Here
Cassie,
we go.
yeah, Cassie, I know. It's funny because Bo, some behind the scenes stuff. He's a big fan of P. Diddy. No, behind the scenes, he loves the movie industry, TV industry. He's not a pop culture guy, but this is part of it, my man. I got you,
This is
though.
it, dude. I know enough. I know enough to
No,
make
I
it.
know, but I mean, it's not like it's not your thing. Like,
Yeah.
we do that for a living. I mean, part of my job is we cover
Yeah.
pop culture, and it's just everywhere. But basically, she was on the stand. This is the dynamic. Imagine this: she's pregnant, she's remarried, her husband's in the courtroom, and there's conflicting stories that he stormed out during the testimony. Then there's other thing where he decided to leave because he's like, I know I can't handle it. But he's hearing her talk about for years, P. Diddy beat her, drugged her, would urinate in her mouth, make her have intercourse while she's on her period, hire male prostitutes to come and urinate in her mouth while he urinated in her mouth, then would do this thing. This is what happened. This is reported in court where then the male prostitute would be directed to finish on her in a certain place, then take that and go into the other room where P. Diddy was and rub it on his nipples. I mean, none of that's illegal if it's agreed to, but he said there's sex trafficking. He's bringing people across state lines. He's forcing them to do it. He's threatening them if they don't do it. I mean, this is in your wheelhouse. I promise you at some point in the future, this will be a Netflix monster show. Monster.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I have the perfect cast. Michael B. Jordan. That guy would crush that role, if he was playing P. Diddy. No, Michael B. Jordan. That's my vote.
Oh,
But no,
gosh,
that stuff's insane, dude. Like I said, I can't even comprehend most of that stuff. Other than the fact you're just a sick, twisted individual. But he had that energy too, like just the Justin Bieber stuff too. That's potential going out within his youth.
Well, and then, he was with Bieber when he was like 16, and we don't know if anything happened, but it is interesting. Like now, Bieber's been acting stranger than ever since the P. Diddy trial became a thing. Like he did like some 15-minute or some long video talking in a chipmunk voice with a filter, going on some rant just last night about all sorts of different stuff. People are like, this dude ain't all right. Maybe it's nothing P. Diddy, but it could be. I mean,
yeah. Do you think that's like a coping thing? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think it definitely is too. I think that people probably quote unquote sell their soul, and then like they're left with the receipt afterwards, and it's just not worth the Ferrari and the millions of dollars because it's like you have nothing. You cheapen the whole process was cheapened because you either slept your way to the top, i.e. Weinstein and the Weinstein girls, or like P. Diddy. I think it cheapens the whole process. In my life, like I feel like it's about the process. It's not just about the end result. And I think some people who rush that end result, they end up doing a lot of crap that they regret.
Well, and Diddy, the allegations is that he used his position of authority. It was mastermind where there's a rapper, and this is all alleged, of course, but a rapper, he was in the industry. They did like one little song together, and he didn't really know him that well. And he said, "Hey, why don't you come to this club with me?" And it was like during the middle of the day. He's like, "All right." He said the first floor is like people just kind of hanging out, drinking, maybe smoking some weed or whatever. The second floor, it was like men and women were like kind of hooking up, like just in broad daylight. I mean, just middle of the day. I mean, it's a club. So, and they said the third floor, he said, all right, let's go up one more floor. And it was like men, like it was like gay sex. And he looked at Diddy and he's like, I'm not about this. And Diddy was like, what? Like Diddy was like offended that, oh, you're not down. Like, and there's all these allegations that he like hooked up with the dad from Family Matters.
I heard that. Yeah. I heard that.
It is like
my childhood is ruined.
Like he'd have sex. I know anybody and everyone that's the thing with Diddy is like, there's just, I don't know, but we'll follow it.
It's just that power stuff, dude.
Yeah. It's all power stuff.
Thing. Yeah.
I mean, there's sex trafficking, drug trafficking. They're talking about arms trafficking. It's like the dude was involved in every type of crazy thing that you only see in movies. Like, yeah, right. That would never happen. He's doing it right here.
My question is what happened? What happened? Because he's been doing this for a long time. What happened? Like with Weinstein, what happened? What was the final domino to fall to actually make people come out and say, okay, enough's enough? There's a lot of speculation on that.
Yeah, and there's some really good conspiracy theories with that as well.
Love it.
Like something, I think there's an allegation, of course you have to say allegedly, but like with Ciroc, there was some deal that he was pulling something with Ciroc, and it was like a big deal, like multi-hundreds of $1 million deal that might have gone under. And then they think somebody may in that group dropped a dime on him because they knew about it the whole time. They're like, oh, you're gonna screw us? All right, we got you. And then P. Diddy, he filmed everything.
It's like Epstein.
He filmed all the freak offs, all of them. I mean, Cassie was like, you need to delete that. He's like, no, because he used that to blackmail people. But now they go in when he's not expecting it and they take all his stuff. I mean, but he's in his 50s. I mean, if he gets 20 years in prison, that's a life sentence. All right. Well, I know you want to talk about baby oil all night. I don't know why you got on such a tangent.
I do. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah. But I'm really curious from your perspective, because I want to like assume what your Mount Rushmore of action stars are, but getting to know you a lot better. We've known each other for like 8 to 10 years, but way better last year or so. I have no idea. It could be all over the place with you. So I'm really curious. And this is whatever you think. What an action star is to you, and who would be the top 4?
I think there's like very few franchises nowadays that actually are genuine action stars. So for me, it's like I have to divert back to like the action greats for the Mount Rushmore, because they're just not creating them like they used to. You know, there's a few good series, like the John Wick series is amazing. It's new. But and Mission Impossibles are great, but like there's just not a bunch of action films like it was in the 90s, early 2000s. Same with like great comedies. You know, 90s and early 2000s was just the best time in the world to make those movies. So like action stars, it's all going to be guys pretty much from like, you know, you may have a good guess about a few of them. We'll go one for one. So we'll start number 5 and we'll go up. Okay. All right. My number 5.
Or 4.
Wait. 4. Well, I got 5. You gonna do 4? We can do 4. Okay. We can do 4. That's fine. Okay. Number 4 for me would be Sylvester Stallone.
Go ahead. Top 5. It don't matter. It's our podcast. Do 5. You want to do 13?
Well, I didn't know if you put a stipulation on here. We'll go number 5, Sylvester Stallone. Number 5.
Can't disagree.
Sly Stallone. He's the dude. You know what I mean? But he's plays the same guy in most every role, like a lot of good action stars do. But like Tulsa King, he still has that coming out. Which, by the way, we started season 2 because you ranted or raved about it. We saw season 1. We're starting season 2. So Sylvester Stallone is definitely top 5. I think anyone would agree with that. I mean, I don't know anyone who wouldn't think that he's up there.
100%. I love him. You know, the Rocky movies alone.
Yeah.
It's just his presence. The first one was so well written. He won an Academy Award on his first screenplay out the box, basically. And I love the fact that the little nugget on that is that Sylvester Stallone believed in the script so much. This is a bow move. This is something you would do, which I respect. It's not something I would do. I would sell out in 2 seconds. You know me. I mean, how much is it? I'll do it, and then I get screwed. But is that he said, I want to be Rocky, and the studios were like, no, you've been in like in one weird movie that's like kind of a porno in the 70s.
Porno, yeah.
And then right now, dude, you know, and then he's like, and you can't have it. But then people love the script so much. And then he sold his dog. This is true. He sold his dog to get money to continue with the screenplay and to get this film made. And then after he made the money, he finally got paid. He actually was able to buy his dog back. Yeah, but just that and seeing his transformation, kind of, you know, he's like kind of bulky, doughy, you know.
Yeah. His delivery wasn't, you know, polished. You know, it was.
And it was a love story. Rocky 1, you watch it again. It is a love story with some boxing. And then it got more focused on boxing. And then by Rocky 4, this dude is the most ripped dude on earth. And you're like, this is the guy. And then of course,
Rambo. I mean, he was doing Rambo like right after that, like 2, 3 Rambos, and then, you know, some corny movies like Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie. I love that movie. I grew up on that movie.
Yeah.
Anything he's in. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. He's definitely top. He's number 5. Who's your number 5?
Well, I had that in my Mount Rushmore, so we agree on that. But I'll do somebody different.
Okay, we'll say style.
I'll say one that you will probably agree with, but then may not be in your top 5. But every movie's the same. But I know when I'm going in, I'm action. I'm going to see people murdered. I'm going to hear a great British accent. I'm talking about Michael Caine. No, just kidding. Jason Statham.
Okay, yeah.
Now, is he a good actor? Probably not. Has he been in the biggest movies in the world? Not really. But he's the beekeeper. He's fighting megalodon sharks.
He's the mechanic.
And I know for 90 minutes that it's going to be pure action. That's all. It's action. You're not going there to hear what he has to say. I'm the beekeeper. And then he goes in. And so that's pure action.
What I love about Jason Statham is, do you know how he got founded? Like how he got.
I don't.
Okay, this is crazy. He was really on the side of the streets in London selling jewelry, like fast talking, sleight of hand, just a great salesman, right? Well, Guy Ritchie saw him, and Guy Ritchie was making a movie called Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, his first big thing. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to be in this?" And so he wasn't really an actor. He got in that, and then he got in Snatch, and then it's been on and on and on. And he always plays that same role. So we talk about from a rags to riches. He wasn't even pursuing acting. He just got seen because he was such a smooth talker and such a salesman. Guy Ritchie's like, you'd be great as an actor.
Well, and then I think in action movies, lots of times it's like every guy wants to be him, and every woman wants to be with him. I mean, and then I fancy myself as the poor man's Jason Statham. My friends call me Jason Statham. It's all right. I don't
Jason
care.
Statham. Jared Statham.
I got a little beard. I'm bald. I don't do anything that involves action, but
you just need to start talking like that. That's all you need to do. What's that?
Talk like this.
And talk like this. All you need to do. Was that your number 5?
So I have him on Mount Rushmore, which is probably a little outside the box.
Was that your number 5 or 4?
I had him on my top
another
4.
one.
Yeah.
Look, he's not the greatest actor. He is just he isn't. But I love him personally because he is such a good person. Number 1. Number 2, he has 2 of the biggest action franchises under his belt. Keanu Reeves. You got the Matrix franchise, which, arguably the first Matrix may be one of the greatest movies ever made. Like, in my opinion, it was so far ahead of its time. And then, of course, 2 and 3 after that. But then now he has John Wick. He has 4 John Wicks. And those are the greatest action movies that come out, I think, in probably the last 5-6 years. I mean, just pure action. I mean, you got Maverick. You have a few other things, but just kill 'em action. There's nothing is like that. And it's just this cool noir, neon light. It's always rainy. It's such a cool aesthetic. And him personally has a dark energy that it just crushes it. So I have to put him in the top 5. I mean, for sure.
When it comes to action, that's all it is. I think the first one. Did you hear the story about David Lee Roth recently that used to be in? Sammy Hagar replaced him. What's the freaking name of the band?
Van Halen.
Van Halen, yeah. And so David Lee Roth, he became friends with Bill Hader, or he was around Bill Hader from SNL, and he was around the SNL or the South Park guys. And he's like, "Hey, I got a movie idea I want to pitch you." He goes, "All right, so this guy, he has this dog, and these guys come into his house, break in, and kill his dog and beat him up. And then the guy, what they don't know is this guy's like an assassin, and he goes and kills all the people and gets revenge, like a revenge movie based on killing his dog." And the South Park guy's like, "Yeah, that's called John Wick. It's been out for 15 years." He was like, "It is?" So it's like either he saw it and forgot he saw it, but he just described John Wick as his movie idea, and they're like, "No, that's already a thing." Anyway.
And what a great story, because they're building a whole universe around that franchise.
Yes.
They have not only 4 movies, but now they have, Ana de Armas is going to be, in the new one coming out, and she's the female lead in that, which, but then they have a TV series out, I think on Peacock. I mean, you can't, come on, like, you can't take John Wick and make it, I don't care how, look, it's not a sex thing. I don't care how great a fighter a woman is. A 110-pound woman cannot drop kick a 300-pound man and knock him through a window out of a building like the movie shows. It's just not realistic. So that's the thing I like about,
I'm with you.
Keanu is like he really knows those moves. He really knows mixed martial arts. He really can fight, but there's just too big of a power dynamic when you have a female, against big henchmen. It doesn't work.
It's not, you have to seriously suspend reality, and this is not the Marvel universe. This is like
correct. Yeah.
They're actually like an assassin. You're like, all right, now if they're good with a weapon or whatever, just like if it was a 110-pound male actor, you're like, okay, come on, let's not do this. I'm Keanu Reeves. I can't remember which John Wick it was. So we had more dialogue in the first one, and then it worked really well. Surprise hit. I think by the 3rd one, he might have had 1 page for the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get more and more creative with how to the fight scenes get more. He's on horseback. in the middle of the city kicking people. And there's one, I don't know if you've seen all of them, but that knife scene and that I don't know where they are. They're like, it's not a museum, but the knife scene and they're breaking glass to get these more knives out and ninja stars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like,
what's cool is like they're like kind of redefining action genre to with the new technology that we have now with like the cameras, but also too like the movement of it. It feels so immersive. Whereas 90s, early 2000s movie, it kind of felt like you were spectating these big explosions. But in John Wick, you feel like you're really in that. It just has a cool feeling to the whole movie. The franchise is just amazing, and he honestly is the best one for it.
He's a horrible actor. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he just doesn't have the chops. It's just very dry and very flat. But
apparently a good guy though, right?
Great guy.
His third or fourth one, Halle Berry's in it towards the end.
Third one.
Okay, and there's something, and as an actor, you're probably like, "Good Lord!" But it's like, I can't remember what she said. Like, what brought you here? It's like, I needed to see you. And I'm like, really? That's the cut they went with. There's
yeah, I know.
That's all he's got.
It's like a lot of the deliveries are like he's struggling to get it out. It's like, I need to talk to you. It's just like,
yeah, and it's like
it's like making a mountain out of a molehill, and like for acting anyway, it's called indicating. So you're trying to tell the audience what they should feel by you're slowing down our delivery of something versus like letting the moment or the writing or the camera do the storytelling. Instead, you're trying to like, I need to and it's just like it feels icky, but for him it works. It's just style, and it works.
Back start killing people. I don't have him in my Mount Rushmore, but I love that as an angle. I love the John Wick movies, and that's actually you make a good argument. One, if we're moving on with mine, one for one. I mean, he's probably the GOAT of action movies, action stars.
Let's see.
Huh? Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, he defined action. I mean, he was bigger than Stallone was. And they kind of hated each other for a while and became friends. But like Predator, Commando, right? Commando?
Mm-hmm. Commando, Commando, True Lies, all of those.
And it's just like, even now, he could be in his 70s and I still believe it. I mean, he was he was like an action figure.
Yeah, he was.
In these movies, Mr. Universe and his story. It's like Terminator, huge.
Like, are you serious? Right? Like that's the one of the biggest action movies of all time. So, everyone wanted to be that, that stoic robot acting, unemotional. He's actually my top 5 for sure. I mean, I think it's undeniable. Anyone who doesn't say him in the list is crazy. He's not the best actor because again, I think a lot of these guys probably could do amazing things with like the right setting and like the right film, but like these things don't require Daniel Day-Lewis immersion that like call me by my character name and I'm going to be living in a tent for 8 months while we and so I think a lot of it Dwayne Johnson kind of gets roped in that. It's like a lot of it just seems shallow, but the reality is the whole point of the movie is to entertain you.
It's action.
That's it. And so for me, he's insanely entertaining. I love watching him. I love his story too. Another great story. Everyone said he would not be an actor. They said he would not be a weightlifting power champion. He won Mr. Universe like 7 times. He won't be an actor. He took Hollywood by storm. He won't be a governor. Won the governorship. So I think I love those underdog stories, even though to look at him you wouldn't think underdog, but he has a crazy story.
He was. His dad was like abusive, and in that time coming from Austria to America and become the biggest movie star in the world. When they try to give him a dialect coach, and he was like, "I can't do it. It's not, this is the way I'm going to talk." And they're like, "Well, it ain't going to work."
Well, he if you've heard his schedule, he would work out like 4 to 5 hours a day, and he worked construction, and so he'd work like 8-hour days. But also too, he started a real estate acquiring real estate in Los Angeles, a business, and he said that business is what kept him afloat for over a decade because those roles a lot of times is feast or famine. It's like whatever the industry standard is at that point, you get thrown and lumped into that. They weren't booking a lot of things with Arnold Conan. I mean, they weren't booking a lot of things that would require a 300-pound, massive dude. So he had this business to help stabilize him during the time, so he's not waiting tables. And
I didn't even forget about that. Conan the Barbarian movies, freaking love those.
Yeah, I mean, like you think back on like the 70s, 80s, 90s movies, he's the icon. He's the dude. In my opinion.
So we got Stallone. Not that we agree on all of them. Stallone and Schwarzenegger we agree on.
Yeah. And you got Statham, I got Keanu.
Okay.
I feel like we're coming
I'm
to
gonna
the
do it.
same. I think we're coming to the same end result if we're going to like the last
Maybe
guy.
I have one that's going to surprise you. I think this is
Okay.
my last one before the one I think we're going to agree on. I think.
Okay, then you have 5, right? That'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Since I had 4, but then when I thought about it, since we're doing 5,
Yeah.
we're kind of doing 5. I'm like, okay, this guy became an action star late in his career, and
Give me
I
a
love
hint.
it.
Let me see if I can guess.
All right, is late in his career. Now he's been in huge franchises,
Yeah.
huge franchises. He's been in arguably one of the greatest movies of all time. He's in one of the biggest movie franchises of all time. He's that's not to do with his acting career, but I was going to give you a hint, but it's probably to give it away. But and he has, I have more muscle than he does. He's British.
Daniel Craig?
No. Oh yeah, but no. Liam Neeson.
Oh yeah.
Taken franchises, and then okay, some of the movies weren't great, so he went from like Taken, then he was like on a plane, and he's going to kill somebody on the plane. Then he's on a bus. You know, he just goes to different modes of transportation for the whole movie. But I love him. He made it believable as a man, probably at the time when Taken came out, late 50s.
Yeah.
And the whole story about like his daughter being taken, he was believable as a guy that was highly trained and had a special set of skills.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kill you. I'm going to find you and I'm going to kill you. That movie was so good that like, yeah, when he goes in and he's in his 60s in the next movie, I believe it that he can beat up anybody. Yeah. I love Liam Neeson in any action movie.
I mean, I love some of his movies. I mean, he started off really in Hollywood with Schindler's List.
Yeah,
you know, and
huge.
They swept the Oscars with that. But for me, I don't know. I wouldn't put him on Mount Rushmore of, but that's okay. That's what that's what makes it different. That's what makes it special. All right, I got one to counter that.
Okay.
This guy, he hit the ground running with a George Miller film, very low budget, crushed it. And then he has been a action star, drama star, director for close to 50 years now, and is the lead in one of my favorite movies. I'm just going to tell you, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson for me is like the dude. I mean, you got, of course, Braveheart. Everyone knows that one, but he has done so many amazing films that are action related and drama related too. I mean, Conspiracy Theory. A lot of people don't know about that movie, Conspiracy Theory. I love conspiracy theories in general, but also I love the movie. And he just cranks these out. Doesn't talk a lot about them. Now, he's had some stinkers as well, but I just love his dedication, everything he does. And he's top for me.
Okay. And then the last one I think we're going to agree on. He's still doing it. He's got one coming out, and we're getting to his star power. I want to get from your perspective, being in Hollywood or in the movie industry and acting industry, what is it about him? But Tom Cruise,
the GOAT.
You know, as action star. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, he is, and he kind of broke the mold because the mold was like big, bulky, Stallone, Schwarzenegger. The Rock's doing that now, and I like The Rock, and maybe he can work his way up there for sure. And there's some people who probably have him right away when they're Mount Rushmore. But I mean, here he is. How many years has he been doing Mission Impossible movies? 25, 20?
I think 91 was his first.
30? Jeez, 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Vanilla Sky. I mean, it's anything he's in, like these action adventure type movies. And then you believe him when Minority Report. How awesome is that movie? And how great is he?
Last Samurai.
And so
Last Samurai.
Yeah, and he has like diverse action movies.
Yeah,
it's not that Mission Impossible is similar because it's a franchise, but all the other ones are like you said. Last Samurai is a great example of that, or Minority Report, where there's a lot more to the story.
Yeah,
the story is so great. But go ahead.
No, I mean, I think it's one of this. It's hard to even encapsulate what it is about him that's so great. Other than the fact of, I saw this thing talking about his dedication to the system and to making movies, and then to entertain the audiences. And I think that's one thing. He never got sidetracked with like necessarily chasing the money, but he does stuff that he just wants to do. Of course, the Top Gun movies and things like that, but he also is the practical stunt guy. Everyone knows he's like in his 60s almost, or maybe already is. And he's doing the practical stunts of jumping off buildings, hanging off airplanes. I'm going to see how long I can hold my breath. 7 minutes underwater for a movie. No, people phone it in. Like, we don't need to do this. That's what most people say. We don't need to have this, be the case, but he does. And I think that, as time goes on, he said, I saw today that he has another one in him, another Mission Impossible, and they said, "Do you think you can make it better than this one?" He says, "I know I can." It's just like there's something greater driving this guy. It's not just the fame or the accolades and money, and for sure the last bona fide movie star, bankable, in the world, I think.
And some credit him, I know I do, for kind of, taking the paddles to Hollywood after COVID and said,
Yeah.
we're not going to release Top Gun on streaming. We're not going to do it during COVID, where nobody can go. We're going to wait till people can start going back to movies. And he put it right in the jump started the movie. And it's like, oh, that was the first like movie going experience for a lot of people for 1 or 2, 3 years where they hadn't been to a real big blockbuster summer movie, and it delivered. It was better than, in my opinion, than the original.
Oh,
and
for
it's
sure.
like this guy, he's got it. But I think what you said, he reminds me of kind of like when you watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's like this drive that you can't teach.
Nope.
You can't like push. It's just in him. And look, he's survived all sorts of controversies and negative press. And people attack him for his belief system, which I don't like when people do that. But there's some things that are justified, as far as like maybe some things he's done that you might look the other way. And sometimes that would have killed a lot of careers, but he just works so hard, and he's a good actor. Yeah. And I think for years people took it for granted. And then I think during COVID, we're like, man, there's no movies. We're not being entertained. And then he just nailed it with Top Gun. And I love the Mission Impossible movies. They're
all of them are so well done. All of them are so creative and different. And I think one thing I appreciate about him too is like he stays in his lane with like what he does. He's like, I'm a movie star. I don't get on Twitter and start Twitter wars. I don't get political and go voice campaign for these. It's like, what are you doing? Like he uses his leverage, I think, just to make the most entertaining movie. And I think that's something that's so lost in society today, because I think a lot of people coming up are, they may be more attracted to the fame aspect of things, the money aspect of things, if you can get it. But like, I think for him, it's about the art of doing it. I think there's not very many actors, filmmakers like that. And, that's why his appreciation, he would be the centerpiece for action star, but probably just movie star in general. Like, I don't know of anyone who's a bigger movie star truly in the history of movies than him, in my opinion.
And he's done it for what, 4 decades, 5 decades? I mean,
no,
80s, 90s, 2000, 2010,
early
2020.
80s. Yeah, early 80s. So I mean, at least 40 plus years, and he's still, top of the heap, in my opinion.
And we're going to see that movie with you, by the way. We're on a group text with you with Bo's wife.
Yeah, we got tickets. You may have missed the opportunity. They may have already sold it out. I don't know.
Oh crap! Because we got it, and I said to my girlfriend, because I have to ask her,
permission.
Yes, of course. I'm like, do you have coverage? Do you have somebody watching your kids? She's like, oh, yeah. I didn't even see that when they sent it. So today at lunch, she said, I'm 99% sure. I said, well, let me know when you're sure.
Yeah.
Because sometimes she can't get somebody to watch their kids. And and then this afternoon, she's like, did you get the tickets? I'm like, are you sure yet? I said, well, yeah. I said, well, I'm not getting the ticket until you're sure. So anyway, now we're sure. Let me check it because I'm excited. He will bring me out to the movies to pay for a movie. I'll go see Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I mean, and there's not a ton of people like that now, and I think it's like a dying breed too. You know what I mean? It's like how even basketball sports are today compared to were in the '90s. Something iconic about like the Michael Jordan and of course Tom Brady's early 2000s and late 2000s, but the Michael Jordans and the Wayne Gretzky's of hockey, and the Troy Aikman. Like there's a sports, but also movies. You got Kevin Costner, Mel Gibson, Tom Cruise. Like they don't make them like that anymore, it seems.
No.
And I don't know what's happening, but maybe there's this pendulum swing back that it's going to go back to the Brad Pitts of the world. That's like a bona fide movie star and try to make that happen.
Yeah, and then like I think they're trying to make that with what's his face? Timothy Chalamet. They're like, oh, he's the next. But I think he's more of an actor's actor. He's not somebody that's going to make you go to the movies.
No, for sure. I know he's young. I understand that. I know he's young, but like, I don't think he has the chops. I haven't seen anything from him that I'm like, I can't believe he did that. Whereas every time I watch Tom Hardy, I think that I'm like, golly, this guy is like off the Richter scale as far as skill goes. But that's not normal. I mean, I think he's just, I don't know, different breed.
All right, let's wrap up with another pop culture thing that I know you're going to
love. All right.
Bill Belichick back in the news doing another interview. Apparently he's hired a PR person instead of having his girlfriend, who's 24, he's 73, to do the stuff for him, because that's basically what she was doing. She was just like being his PR person, and that did not work out well. We're like, oh, we're not talking about that, and maybe it's a gotcha type of thing. But he did another interview, and he's like, she has nothing to do with Carolina football, and it's like, so they're distancing her from that. Carolina, there's a report that the Tar Heels banned her from those facilities, and then they had to quickly come out and say, no, we didn't ban her. She's not an employee, but she's welcome there anytime, because Bill Belichick is the greatest NFL coach of all time, and he's a Carolina for college football, and so it's like, we don't want to lose this guy, but the report, the thing that, and I know you do this anyway, is that there is a rumor that he takes injectables, but the injectables that we looked it up to be able to get aroused. This is what happens when you date a young person. You become speculation. You become tabloid fodder. But it has to be injected into his actual penis.
What is he taking? What is this?
You're like, where do I get it? And apparently it works like instantly. I mean, within 10 minutes. And it can last up to 3 days. I mean, like, it's in your system. But I was like, no, it must be injectable like in your body. We looked it up on our show, and it has to go in.
So it's not like testosterone or something. It's like a chemical.
No.
Wow.
They go, so if that was the only way for you to be able to get it on with your wife, would you inject?
That's the thing, Dad. I'm thinking about this. Like, you're just talking about shoving a needle in there, like every time. I mean,
otherwise you can't do it.
That's like the people do all the time, though.
No, I'm saying this is like just for instance, like
I know, but like, what's his issue that he needs to have that done is the question, because he's not that old, and dudes in the 80s and someone's in the 90s still do. The reason I know this is because I had a family member who ran a nursing home, and they said that one of the biggest problems they had in nursing homes, I think I told you this, was like STDs, because they would be sleeping around unprotected very regularly. So they'd be treating them from herpes and gonorrhea. These are 80-year-olds getting STDs. Yeah. So, I don't know what exactly he's taking. I can't even speculate, but.
And it's a rumor, and maybe he could take like a Viagra or a Cialis, but maybe it's something that he's taking. It's the rumor. I mean, like rumors, we don't have no idea. But this was like and reporters are wrong all the time. This is a sports reporter that uncovered it. It was like, I didn't even hate talking about this, but this is how bizarre this story has become. But I think because it's more of an instant thing, and maybe she wants to do it a lot. I don't know. So he's got to be like ready all the time.
Something's going on.
She's 24 and he's 73. I mean,
something's going on here. Yeah, and she fell in love with his personality. He's like the worst. He's like person out of the.
Oh, I know.
It's terrible. It's not like he's like life of the party. Like you see these guys on boats with like the fake tans and the white hair, like life of the party. He's not that. He's like wearing tattered sweatshirts and playing interviews, and has this like no personality. Whatever, man. Whatever each person wants.
Well, and she acquired because they've been together apparently for 4 years. And to give Bill Belichick a little credit,
so how old is she?
24. She's acquired.
She was 20 when they started dating.
Yeah, I think that's why they don't want to talk about it.
Ooh.
And then her last boyfriend, when she was 19 or 20, 19, he was 60, some rich guy. So she likes to dig for gold.
Oh, that she's
digging for that gold. Man. Yeah, there's something daddy issues. But she apparently has $8 million in property since she's acquired $8 million in property since she's been dating Bill Belichick. So I'm sure the kids and grandkids are like, great.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. Just burn it all. Well, I mean, at least she's playing the system. I don't hate the system. I mean, just.
Oh, no, he's not a victim. This dude's not stupid.
No. I mean, he must be blinded by something, but.
We know what that is. He was married for 30 years to a woman basically his age for 30 years. Then he dated a woman about 15, 20 years younger than him. Okay, not a big deal because he's older for like 14 years. And then he jumped real.
50 some years difference?
50-year difference.
Jeez, whatever.
Yeah.
He'll end up dying like in some tragic way, probably injecting too much stuff into his dick, and he'll like have a heart attack.
It gives you a whole new word.
Tell me that's not her plan. Like, just slip some cyanide in that needle and off you go.
Or just wait it out. I mean, the average man lives to 75, so it gives a whole new meaning to the word needle dick. I mean,
that's the pun of the night. Needle dick.
That's all we need, and I saved it to the point in the podcast where no one will hear it. So that's perfect.
Yeah, everybody's already signed up.
Clip it out. All right, dude. Great job as always.
Yeah, but it's fun.
You want to be a part of the podcast? We have a brand new website, which is great.
Yeah.
It's just now getting started. Oppositesdistract.com. And if you want to be we should let the show with this hindsight. If you want to be a sponsor, everything's on there. Everything that you need to like fill out a form. we have all sorts of different sponsorship opportunities. We have a lot of reach, but also subscribe to our podcast and follow us on all of our socials. But we want to thank Jen and Wade who are putting our website. They're super talented people, graphic designers and website builders and system builders.
It takes an army, man. It takes an army. Jeez.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
The more you grow, it's like, gosh. I know we got a couple more sponsors adding next week. You'll hear about that and see that. So stay tuned.
All right.
All right, guys. Later.